All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're unmasking one of the most complicated, most fascinating figures in the entire celestial court, Lian Zhen. This is a star deity who walks a razor-thin line between being a super strict disciplinarian and a ridiculously charismatic diplomat. And right off the bat, you see the problem, right? How can one guy be the divine realm's tough-as-nails chief inspector and its smoothest emotional diplomat? It just doesn't seem to add up. But that contradiction, well, that's the whole key to understanding who Lian Zhen really is.
So, yeah, let's start with this core contradiction. Just try to picture this. Lian Zhen is basically the Celestial Emperor's most trusted cybersecurity chief, the one who locks everything down, who also happens to be his head of PR. He's the guy who enforces the rules with an iron fist, but he's also the one they call in to smooth over the most delicate, high-stakes celestial dramas.
You know, the best way to describe his whole vibe is like a really complex cup of black coffee. That first sip, it's bitter. He's strict, he's demanding, he is all about discipline. But then, the aftertaste kicks in, and it's surprisingly charming, almost aromatic. That's because he's wildly talented, deeply charismatic, and people are just drawn to him. It's that mix of bitter and sweet that makes him so incredibly compelling.
So to really get a handle on him, we've got to look at his official resume, right? The story that's encoded directly into his name and his cosmic job description.
So first up, astronomically, he's known as Yu Heng, which is the fifth star in the Big Dipper. Now that character, Heng, it means balance, like a scale. Ancient astronomers saw this star as the universe's calibrator, the one that sets the cosmic standards. And that lines up perfectly with his divine job, overseeing law, discipline, and making sure everything is done by the book.
And then you have his actual name, Lian Zhen. Lian literally means integrity, to be completely incorruptible. Zhen means steadfastness, rock-solid loyalty. So on paper, his name spells out perfectly disciplined, unshakably principled dude. That's his public persona, the official story.
Okay, now let's talk about his power source, because this is really interesting. He wields yin fire, and trust me, this isn't just any old fire. Its unique nature tells us a ton about his character.
Just look at the difference here. You've got yang fire. That's the sun, right? It's huge, it's obvious, it's overpowering. But Lian Zhen's yin fire? Totally different. Think of a candle flame or maybe a neon light. It's focused, it's stable, and it's got this mysterious quality. Its heat is so concentrated it can melt metal, which is a perfect symbol for his immense creative and, destructive potential.
So, we've built up this image of a perfect, disciplined, righteous official. But every good story needs a twist, and Lian Zhen's origin story is a real shocker. This is where we find the shadow that explains everything.
And here it is. In the classic epic Investiture of the Gods, Lian Zhen is actually the deified spirit of a guy named Fei Zheng, who was one of the most corrupt, slimy, manipulative courtiers in history. This guy was an absolute master of flattery, reading people, and what we today call public relations, and he used all of those skills for pure evil.
Which brings us to the million-dollar question. Why on earth would a notorious traitor be reborn as a god of incorruptibility and loyalty? The answer to that question reveals the razor's edge that Lian Zhen's entire existence is balanced on.
See, here's the thing. It all comes down to the fact that the very same skills can lead to either greatness or total disaster. When he's on the righteous path, he's an administrative genius, using his incredible people skills for good. But if you take away that moral compass, that same talent turns him into a manipulative, power-hungry monster. He is the living embodiment of the idea that talent without virtue isn't just useless, it's dangerous. Okay, so what does any of this have to do with us, here in the 21st century? Well, as it turns out, Lian Zhen is basically the perfect blueprint for a modern, elite professional. For starters, he's known as the second peach blossom star, which means he's a star of attraction. But hold on. His charm isn't about raw physical desire. It's way more sophisticated. It's an intellectual, spiritual, and social magnetism. It's that kind of high-end charisma that makes someone a natural at PR, networking, and diplomacy. So who does he look out for today? Well, if you're a public servant, a lawyer, a police officer, anyone who lives by rules and procedures, he's your guy. Same goes for PR pros and diplomats who have to juggle those complex relationships. But here's the surprise. He's also the patron for software engineers, artists, and designers, people who need both incredible precision
and creativity.
And this just fits so perfectly with his modern relevance, that focused, intense, high-temperature yin fire we talked about. Today, that represents the precision and logic you need for electronics, computer science, and network technology. He's basically the patron saint of Silicon Valley.
All right, now we get to his most ominous-sounding title, the Prison Star. I know, it sounds terrifying, but understanding this concept, this is the key to unlocking his greatest piece of wisdom.
Now, on the surface, it's exactly as bad as it sounds. It represents confinement, getting tangled up in problems, and this is the big one, becoming a prisoner of your own mind. People who are influenced by him can easily get stuck in a mental jail after a setback, just replaying their failures over and over and over again.
But hang on, let's reframe this. Is this prison really a jail cell meant to trap you? Or could it be something else entirely? Could it actually be a protective shield?
And here it is. This is the profound lesson of the Prison Star. The prison isn't some external cage, it's the internal structure of self-discipline. The wisdom here is that real freedom, real creativity, they don't come from chaos. They can only truly flourish inside the protective boundaries that we set for ourselves.
The lampshade analogy explains this perfectly. Think about it. Your talent, it's like a brilliant candle flame. It's bright, but it's super vulnerable. The slightest gust of wind could put it out. Now, discipline, that's the lampshade, the prison that you place around the flame. It doesn't snuff it out. It protects it, shields it, allowing it to burn steadily and cast its light as brightly as it possibly can.
So what are the big takeaways for us? First, you've got to be your own internal affairs inspector. Practice self-discipline. Second, always balance your talents with a strong moral code so you don't become a modern-day Fei Tong. And finally, when you do mess up, learn how to unlock that prison of the mind, forgive yourself, and move on.
At the end of the day, Lian Zhen represents this beautiful, powerful harmony. He shows us that severity and tenderness, strict discipline and wild creativity, they aren't opposites. They're two sides of the same coin, and true excellence is found right there, in the balance between them.
And that really leaves us with this final, powerful thought. The ultimate message from the Celestial Inspector General is that true strength isn't about controlling the world or the people around you. It's about mastering the world inside you. Thanks for tuning in.